Hey, how's it going? I kind of just wanted to go over something with you guys really quick, and it's a very controversial subject. Now, I've been into psychology and like how the mind works and stuff like that for a very long time. I've always been intrigued by the idea of learning how other people think, and that's probably why I am a Dom, is because it's all about the head space, the mind space, and my job as a Dom is to influence moods depending on what type of sub they are. Whether it's slave, that I don't need to worry about. Littles, I don't do that. It all depends on what type of sub, but it has a lot to do with psychology either way. But the reason why I'm making this video is I wanted to kind of talk about a subject that there's really like two kinds of views, and the reality is 99% of people, no, that's not a legit number, so don't quote me, but from my experience, it all depends on what the mood that person is in and who they're talking with and how things are progressing. So I'll explain what I mean. So it's about people wanting to get to know each other over messaging. This is more for online dating, by the way. Want to get to know each other through texting or messaging before it becomes either something or before meeting. So I'll give an example, right? So let's say you're messaging somebody from Tinder, okay? And you message them like, hey, how's it going? Da da da, good. You talk for like 3 days or 4 days. You're like, hey, I want to hang out. And it wasn't the ideal move. Their reaction, this is more so for women. Guys can do this too. I have to admit, I've done it. Okay, but if they're not in the right mood, they're gonna say, oh, maybe. They're gonna be like, when. They're gonna start asking questions, and then the ultimate turnout is they're gonna be like, well, I don't know, I want to get to know you first. And there's a lot of variations in ways they can word it, but that's really what it is they're uncomfortable with meeting. And I get that. It makes sense, and the reason why it makes sense is because unless they are like, damn, if they feel like any time that they want to, they can meet you or hang out with you, then they have nothing to lose by making you wait. And people are generally lazy as fuck. It's just, that's how it is. So if they think that anytime that they want to, or they can, then they'll just, or sorry, if they think that anytime they feel like it, they can hang out with you, then they'll say, oh, I'll think about it. And then if they feel like it, which they never will for the most part, their headspace is, well, then I'll message you, and because I know you're gonna say yes. So another headspace that they can have is the people who say they want to think about it, is if they're like extremely shy or have trust issues. Because at the end of the day, there's the one argument where, you know, what if this person's crazy? I don't want to meet them. They could be crazy. It's the same argument that many people have all the time. And like what I do is I tell them, if they say they want to think about it, they want to get to know me first, I say 2 to 3 things, and it works actually most of the time. And if it doesn't, I don't waste my time. I'm a really busy person. I don't have time to waste 6 months of my life getting to know somebody over text, which I might really like them and over text, and then meet them and dislike them. And then it could be the other way around, where I waste all this time and I find out I don't like texting them, but if we would have hung out, we might have really liked in person. which one matters, right? The texting or being in person? The one where if you like each other in person, I hope you guessed right, is the one that matters. So in psychology wise, how much you're gonna learn about if you like somebody or who they are within a few seconds of meeting is going to be more than you will learn in weeks of texting, because that first judgment of somebody is very, very accurate. It's unfortunate that we judge people, but it's just how it is. We can't not do it, and it's actually very hard to change that first judgment because of how accurate it is. It's very, very accurate. So the amount you learn from somebody just meeting them after a few seconds is going to be more than you spend thinking about it and getting to know somebody over text or something like that. So the second argument is really just they're shy or they're nervous, or they have trust issues and things like that. I just tell them, like, I understand that you're shy and stuff, but I'm busy. So what I want you to do is find a way to make yourself comfortable with meeting. Whether it's we meet in public, you bring a friend or 10 friends, or pepper spray, or do all three. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not shy. So that's what I tell them. If they're like, well, I just want to get to know you first, I tell them the next thing, where it's a proven fact that if you get to know somebody, or if you meet them within a few seconds, you're going to know more about them than you will in weeks of text messaging. So I'm a busy person, and if you can't get out of your comfort zone, then how are we going to ever be something? Especially because I do BDSM relationships. If you can't get out of your comfort zone, like, you need to just fucking get out of the way, right? Because I will push that comfort zone to the absolute limit. I will push the trust to absolute limit. I will push in every other way I can think of. I will push you to grow. So meeting somebody should not be something that takes weeks to do. The other headspace is they are excited about talking to you, and they think, if I don't meet you, I'm gonna lose you. The truth is that's the best way to have someone's mindset if you actually want to meet them. And that same person can have the other mindset as well. I'm sure if you're watching this, you've probably had both mindsets if you've ever done online dating. So I've had it where I meet somebody half an hour after talking to them on an online dating site, and I've had it where I meet somebody 2 months after talking to them on a social media or on a dating site. But at the end of the day, what happens is the one that takes forever, they have an expectation of and a guess of what someone is. They have a prejudgment before they actually meet them, and they have no idea who this person is. So what happens is that person's never who they thought they were. It just never is. So the best thing to do, like, you meet people, you go to the mall, like I'm at a mall here, this person getting out of their vehicle right behind me, I've never met them, right? They could be psycho. It's just, that's how it is. So if you're actually scared, then you should probably just stay in your house forever. Just kidding, don't actually do that. But it's the same argument as, you know, you could be psycho on a meeting site. Just meet them in public, or bring a couple friends, or bring pepper spray. Doesn't matter what you got to do to feel comfortable, but you also have to realize that in certain moods, the majority of time, your choices and what you're okay with will change. So for the people who don't want to waste a couple weeks and who aren't like shy, like the people who are just plain out shy and nervous, are ones who will basically say, I want to get to know you first all the time. It doesn't matter what kind of mood they're in, they'll always do that. And there is actually a type of sub that is very, very common with doing that. Littles and baby girls are like, they'll say that like every fucking time. They'll say, well, I want to get to know you first. Really, it comes down to insecurities. A lot of littles and baby girls have insecurities. Not all of them, but a lot. It's just kind of how it is. That's why they go with the daddy dom, who is there to protect them, who, whether it's physically and, you know, it's 2017, so physically is not really one that gets used very much, because, you know, we're not fighting for our lives anymore, right? It's 2017, it's not 3,000, 4,000 years ago, right? The other way that the dom will be there for them is emotionally as well. So they'll tell them like, you know, baby, you'll be okay. You know, I'm here for you, things like that. Their support structure. So without that support structure, they just get really nervous. And so it's just how it is. But I'm telling you right now that if you're little and you want to spend weeks getting to know them, or an undefined amount of time getting to know somebody, especially on an online dating site, before you meet, you're just causing that relationship to have difficulties. Now, I'm not saying that it won't work out. I'm saying that it's kind of a waste of time, because it's just how it is. You'll know more if you like each other within a few seconds of meeting. It's how it is. You won't have that preconception of who you think that person is, and trust me, it is all around healthier for you as a little or a baby girl and a person to get out of your comfort zone and just meet them. If you have other little friends or baby girl friends to go with you, or friends in general, when you meet, bring them. Whatever you need to do to feel safe. But if you're a little baby girl, for the majority of you guys, there's no time that you're gonna feel comfortable with meeting. And even while you get to know each other, meeting just gets more scary, because then it goes from, you know, oh, will I feel safe as an excuse, to shit, will this person like me, right? So if you start liking each other, you'll get nervous that, or a lot of littles will get nervous that when they meet with the person they've been talking to, that person might not like them. Very, very, very common. So I understand the idea of being afraid of someone who's faking who they are. There's a lot of fake doms out there. Littles and baby girls actually throw fake dom out like no tomorrow. If they dislike somebody, they'll call them fake. It's actually really annoying, and it's a huge problem in the BDSM community. Is if they don't like or they don't work out, then they'll call that dom fake. And you know, they might be right, but like every single person that they're with, if they don't work out, they'll call fake. It usually, yeah, it's how it is. So just because it doesn't work out between you two doesn't mean that they're a fake dom. And littles and baby girls need to stop calling people fake, right? And if you're a dom and you've heard that, think nothing of it, unless, like, you know, you're just there for sex, right? If you're just there for sex, or especially like with a little or a baby girl, if you're just there for sex, it's never gonna work out. It's a whole fucking like, it's a very, very, very complex relationship to be with a little or a baby girl. I would say that's probably one of the most hard relationships to be in, and it takes time to kind of get into the groove. So I'm not going to talk anymore about it. Basically, if you're meeting somebody, or the other scenario that I was talking about where they meet right away, there's two kinds of people. One is the conversation turns into, well, like, it doesn't go into this way, but if you act busy, and like I am busy, so I get this all the time, if you show that you're busy and you know, you just think that they're cool and you want to hang out, and when are you free, then they're more likely to just hang out with you than if you have like a 300 message reply back and forth, and then be like, you know, you seem pretty awesome, I'd like to hang out with you, would you like that? They'll all say, well, I'd like to get to know you first, or maybe, or probably, or they'll come up with some excuse. It happens all the time. And it all really depends on you messaging and or the person that you're messaging. I've had it where, like, I'll have someone who's very, very confident with themselves, more slave-like. Usually the people who are slave-like have are very independent and have a strong head on their shoulders. Slaves, they don't really need a lot of affection and reassurance. For the majority of slaves, everyone's different, right? So I can't say that all of them, right? But a lot of slaves that I've met have a very good head on their shoulders. They just want to go home to somebody and not have to think about what to do for the relationship. They do what they're told, and they can just mentally relax. And they like kinky. All the types like to be really kinky, but it's just a different style of the relationship stuff. So I've had it where slaves, like, I'm pretty quick to be like, hey, let's hang out, but I've had it where slaves or very independent people and very successful people, women, ask me to hang out before I even ask them. Like, for example, I had one a few months ago that asked me to hang out like an hour after talking, and I was really busy, so we didn't send a lot of messages. And like, she was a bank manager and like owned multiple houses and cars, brand new cars, like way more successful than I am. I'm pretty successful. And but yeah, like, the more mentally strong they are, the more likely that person is to just be like down to hang out. But the more insecure somebody is, the more they'll say they want to think about it. So when you get from slave to little, almost all littles and baby girls are very insecure, and that's why they go with a daddy, and that's why they get a daddy, because their headspace is a little bit different than a slave or someone who's really successful. They need that reassurance, and they want that, they need it. So this is more for the littles out there. Like, if you want to meet daddies, you have to be a big girl when you meet them. You can't start by telling them, like, by acting little. You have to make, unfortunately is how it is, you have to be a big girl and get to know them in person, spend an hour with them, and decide if you like them. And don't be little until, like, you have given them permission to treat you like a daddy. They don't earn your little space until you've given that to them. Like, you shouldn't open up until they deserve you to do that, right? They have to earn that. So you have to spend that time. Don't waste each other's time. You'll just get more nervous, trust me. I've seen it happen many, well, not too many, but quite a few times. I've heard about it happening a lot. So yeah, if you like this video, comment, subscribe, like the video, and peace out.